Yeah, today I thought I would share one of the most valuable lessons that I learned during my decades in dementia care, which is that many of the so-called behavioral symptoms of dementia can be alleviated simply just by meeting human needs. So we human beings need a lot. And beyond our basic needs for food, water, and shelter, we have a lot of psychosocial and emotional needs also. And when these needs go unmet, we experience all kinds of ill effects. Effects like depression, irritability, fatigue, difficulty concentrating. Effects that sound strikingly similar to a list of so-called behavioral symptoms of dementia. So my memory care staff and I used to spend a lot of time putting out fires. We always had crises, always had important things that needed urgent attention, but behavior tracking helped us change all that. It's always so calm and peaceful here. It's a common comment that we would hear when visitors entered our memory care center. We had about 2 dozen residents with dementia living in our little home. Our residents tended to be alert, happy, engaged in meaningful activity, and functioning at their highest capacity. Some doing so well that they were able to spend time volunteering in the greater community. We used almost no antipsychotic medications, although at that time about a quarter of people with dementia nationwide were prescribed these dangerous drugs in order to control their behavioral symptoms. And our staff, our resident and family satisfaction was through the roof. But it hadn't always been that way. We were always considered a good memory care community, but we had our share of behavior issues. We had Susanna picking fights with the other residents. We had Mac glowering at everyone around him, shaking his fist and muttering and scowling at the world at large. Margaret was berating staff and others around her, screaming at them, "You're such an idiot. You're so stupid. You're so useless." Leslie was punching her caregivers as they would gently assist her with her personal care and speak to her in loving tones. So as the administrator, I would talk with the staff about it. "It's okay," they would assure me kindly. "It doesn't hurt. It's just the dementia. She doesn't mean it." But despite their well-intentioned hearts, these caregivers were dead wrong. It was true that Leslie didn't mean to hurt them, and it was good that they recognized that fact. But where they were missing the boat, where we were all really missing the boat up until we discovered the magic of behavior tracking, was that it wasn't just the dementia. There was something else wrong. The medical community as a whole tends to write off dementia as largely untreatable, offering little to be done about these so-called behavioral symptoms of dementia. So these are your symptoms like anxiety, depression, social withdrawal, anger, aggression, sleep disturbances, fatigue, lost interest in favorite activities, changes in appetite, difficulty concentrating or making decisions, difficulty regulating one's own behavior or controlling impulses, and antisocial behavior that would harm or disrupt others. But as we discovered for ourselves and for hundreds of people living with dementia over the years, in most cases, there really is a lot that can be done to help ease these issues. And that's because most of them aren't actually resulting from the dementia itself. Most are actually symptoms of unmet human needs. So human needs go beyond our basic needs for food, water, and shelter. We have a need for physical comfort, to have our pain and our medical conditions properly treated. We also have a myriad of psychosocial, emotional needs. We need to connect with others. We need to engage in activities that we find personally meaningful. We need to feel competent, useful, valuable. We need to exert control over our own lives. We need to be able to process difficult emotions and to be able to grieve for our losses. And we need to be able to grow and heal deeply, spiritually, especially as we near the end of life and struggle with our own mortality, our fading health, our loss of independence, and our waning cognitive faculties. Dementia doesn't erase our human needs, but it does make it exponentially harder for us to recognize and to manage them ourselves, and for us to communicate them to others. So, when we, as care partners for people living with dementia, when we can help identify and support their unmet needs, we can actually make an enormous difference in their mood, their behavior, and their ability to think and even function, which is all well and good. But how do we actually do that? How can we determine which needs are going unmet? The answer lies in tracking their behavior. When words fail us, humans communicate via behavior. In fact, it's estimated that for any of us, only about 7% of communication is verbal, and the other 93% comes from body language, facial expression, tone of voice, and behavior. Communicating with people with dementia does come more easily for some people than others, but even the most experienced among us can't necessarily see the message right away. In many cases, it requires a process called behavior tracking. Using behavior tracking, we can uncover the message hidden in behavior and help people with dementia feel and function at their best. Using behavior tracking, we transformed our memory care community from good to outstanding on every metric. But much more important than that was the transformation that it made for each individual resident and their families. Like Susanna, who stopped picking fights and pushing people away once we figured out how to reach her through her loneliness. Like Mac, who stopped shaking his fist and glaring at the world. He regained his kind demeanor once we met his needs for purpose and pain control. Margaret stopped insulting us, started smiling sweetly, and thanking us profusely for our friendship once her pain was adequately treated. And Leslie stopped hitting and started humming along with the staff who would help her with her personal care once we learned that singing met her need for emotional security. And there's literally hundreds of others whose lives, moods, and behavior were transformed beyond belief using behavior tracking. The process itself is simple. We just make a note of each distressing behavior. We review them together with a team looking for patterns and clues as to which needs might be unmet. Then we test out our theories and adapt our approaches until we figure out what works. If you want to learn more about the details of behavior tracking, you can go to the ABC Dementia blog, where we focus on appreciating behavioral communication in dementia, and read the article entitled Tracking Behaviors, a Powerful Tool in Dementia Care. It'll provide step-by-step instructions and all the tools that you need to start tracking behaviors on your own. I also want to invite you to my ABC Dementia Behavior Tracking Training course, where we can go over all the details and any questions you might have together. And you'll receive a special rate of only $20 for the rest of April as a thank you for attending today's summit. I'd also be available from there to partner with you to routinely review your loved one's behavior and find the message hidden within. Please feel free to email me with any questions. But before I close, I do want to be very clear that most types of dementia can't be cured. Behavior tracking doesn't make it go away. People with dementia continue to experience memory loss, difficulty with executive functioning, logic, and all the other effects of the damage to their brain. However, if we can get them everything that they need right when they need it, or at least as close to that ideal as possible, there's a remarkable transformation. And it is so gratifying to see how well people with dementia can fare when more of their needs are met. So remember, dementia doesn't negate our human needs, but it does get in the way of meeting them. Many behavioral symptoms of dementia can be alleviated simply by meeting these needs. And the key to determining which needs might be unmet lies in a method called behavior tracking. In the meantime, please be mindful to consciously meet your own needs as well. We all feel and function at our best when our needs are met. Thank you so much.